went to 6 different car dealerships to get a spare key made, but I wanted to see what happened, so I put hidden cameras in every vehicle. And I'm about to show you the 5 lessons I learned. After that, I'll show you what happened at each of the dealerships from the moment I arrived until I left the dealership. The first thing I learned from all these hidden camera videos came from the comments of everyone that watched them. And that was about book rate, or the labor rate, versus the actual time worked. Now, I had no idea that that even existed. Here's an example of one of the many comments people left helping me learn about book rate. This comes from Michael. He said, "People don't understand how dealership labor hours work. Mechanics get paid for the time billed, not the hours they work. This is flat rate pay. Service advisors will always give some hand-waving non-answer to labor times because it comes from the recommended book time. If you're an average mechanic, you're going to usually always beat book time." So that was really interesting to me. I think this is something that's totally misunderstood by customers in the industry. They hear the service advisor, or when you call to get a quote, they say,
"Takes about 2 hours."
And here's the deal. When you go to the mechanic, especially the car dealership, but a lot of independent mechanics as well, they have reference books that say, how long is a certain project or a certain repair supposed to take? So when the service advisor says this is 1 hour of labor,
it could be even longer than that.
what they're really saying is the book says it should take 1 hour to do this job.
Probably a half hour to an hour.
Now, mechanics, on the other hand, are generally not paid by the amount of time they work. They're paid by the job. If a mechanic is doing a 1 hour job and they can get it done in 5 minutes, they make more money because they can move on to their next job. Now, the flip side of that, if they have a job that doesn't go well and it takes them a long time, they've lost money. But it turns out it doesn't matter if it takes 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or if it takes 30 minutes. They charge 1 hour of labor.
Labor rate's $159 for an hour.
It turns out a lot of mechanics hate this pay system. Now, the lazy mechanics hate it because they don't get paid as much if they're not getting paid by hour. But the good mechanics hate it because it incentivizes the wrong thing. Yes, it incentivizes getting work done quickly, but it also incentivizes taking shortcuts and finding ways to beat the system. Guess what? You're faced with the choice as a mechanic. Do I do the diagnostics and not get paid for that at all? Or do I say, you know what? Go ahead and do the replacement, get paid for the work, get paid for the part, and then hope that that actually solved the problem. A lot of times it does, but sometimes they might get into a hunting game where, well, the first part they replaced didn't solve the problem, so they do a second or third or fourth one to finally get the actual problem fixed. Another thing that's dirty for mechanics, say the dealership's charging $200, the mechanic actually gets paid, let's say $30, that's a huge difference. What happened to that other $170? And was it a full hour? That's a full hour labor charge, right? We don't do half hours or anything like that.
We do, but for this setup, you have to do the whole theft system. So you have to blank everything out and then load it all back in.
Yes, it's paying for the service advisor, it's paying for the facility, it's paying for the lights, but you know what? The mechanics have to bring their own tools typically. They're not typically provided by the dealership. So that $200 of labor, they're paying the mechanic 30 bucks, they're paying for lights and other things. Well, maybe the dealership's making 100 bucks an hour on those labor rates. So what's the better system, you might ask? Well, one video I watched had an interesting suggestion.
Well, a lot of independent shops have gone to an hourly rate where you're paid hourly plus efficiency bonuses.
And they said that some shops do a blend between straight hourly and a book rate. They pay their mechanics a reasonable hourly rate. Now, obviously, if the mechanic's not working and not doing their job, they're gonna get fired. But if they're doing their work, that gives them time to do appropriate diagnostics. And then they provide an efficiency bonus. I don't know that that's a perfect world. Who knows? If you've been involved in either pure book rate time or maybe pure hourly rate as a mechanic or maybe blended rate, go ahead and leave a comment. Now, I think book rate was my #1 thing I learned because it actually feeds into several of the other items I'm gonna talk about next. So the second thing I learned, I experienced at 2 or 3 of the dealerships. When I first talked to the service advisor, they checked me in and then they asked, are you gonna wait in the lobby or do you need to ride somewhere?
We're kind of busy trying to catch up right now. Do you need a ride?
That would be great.
Okay.
And I thought that was interesting. It was really nice. One of them gave me an Uber ride somewhere. One of them said, oh great, you're gonna go get lunch? Awesome. There's a nice restaurant around the corner, have some food. We'll see in a while. It turns out the reason they asked this question is they want to know if you're waiting in the lobby and need to make sure they get your car done as soon as possible so they don't have a frustrated customer sitting there. Or if they know you're not coming back till the end of the day, well then they can figure out where they slot your vehicle into their schedule when it's maybe a little bit slower and they don't have quite as much pressure as if you're just sitting in the lobby. So that was something interesting. Now, personally, I'd kind of appreciate it if they just explained that. And they said, hey, if you're gonna wait here, that's fine. We got a couple people ahead of you, but if you're able to leave it, we can fit you in later in the day. We'll give you a ride to where you're going, give you a ride back, not a problem. So that was really interesting, but none of them who offered to give me a ride elsewhere explained the reason of why they were asking that. If you find yourself stuck in the dealership waiting room watching this video, you might want to stick around to the end. I've got a few funny moments of the hidden camera footage that I'll drop at the end of this video. The third thing I found really interesting from this hidden camera investigation was inspections and upselling. Now, I thought every single dealership would be trying to sell me other things that needed to be fixed. I expected them to come back and say, hey, you need this and this fixed. You can wait, but it's probably best to do it right now. We got some time, we'll fit you in today. But guess what? Only 2 of 6 dealerships actually did an inspection. I thought that was really interesting until I learned about book rate. If you're a mechanic paid by the job and not the hour, you don't want to spend 15 or 30 minutes inspecting the vehicle, trying to figure out what's wrong if you're not getting paid for that. You just want to move on to the next job. But it was really interesting to see what he did. This guy spent a good 30, 40 minutes in the engine, finding everything wrong, documenting what was wrong, and then he put it on a lift up in the air, find more things under the vehicle. Finally, as he was backing out, he noticed the horn didn't work. So he put that on the list. All was said and done, I found it really funny. The service advisor said, you know what, this technician is super detailed.
There were some recommends that they had, but this technician, let me give you, is very thorough.
Okay. And then he handed me the stack of papers of all the things that needed to be repaired. It was pretty impressive, the amount of work that this guy did to inspect the vehicle. I don't know how he got paid. I would think that if I'm a dealership and I want to earn more money, I would want my technicians and my mechanics doing inspections so we can find more work to sell to the customer. But if they're being paid by the job, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. What do you think? Okay. The fourth thing I learned, try and double check their work. Now in my case, I was going in to get a spare key made. And of the ones that had an emergency blade, so a hidden blade inside the key fob that's to open the door if your battery ever dies, there were 4 of those that I had programmed. 2 of the 4 didn't have the key blade cut inside it when I received it back. Look at this. They forgot to cut the emergency key blade. And that was pretty frustrating. Nobody checked. Nobody verified that that work had been completed. With Ford, this actually happened. Look at that. They didn't cut it. In the case of Toyota, they were able to take care of it, getting it cut right then and there, and it only added an extra 5 minutes. They forgot to cut the emergency key blade.
Okay, let's take that into the parts real quick.
Going back to book rate, be aware, mechanics are incentivized to get their work done as quickly as possible, and in doing so, they might not be checking that the work was fully done. So ask a couple of questions. Have someone show you, if you can, have someone show you the part that they replaced, or point out where the work was done. Look for signs, like a brand new part on your vehicle, or if you can easily test it, do whatever you can to make sure it's working correctly before you leave the mechanic. The 5th thing I learned was the difference between my appointment time and when the work actually started. And that varied pretty widely. For the most part, the dealerships were working on the vehicle within about a half hour of when I arrived. Dodge was actually the fastest, and they told me not even to worry about an appointment. Do I need an appointment for that, or do I just show up?
We suggest for the key fob walk-ins if you can get here around 11.
They were in the car in 10 minutes and getting underway on programming the key. He's done, which is impressive. Ford was in the vehicle in 20 minutes from the time I arrived, and it was about a half hour at Toyota, Chevy, and Mazda dealerships. The interesting one was Honda. Remember, this is one of the spots that they asked me if I was going to leave the vehicle, and they'd give me a ride somewhere.
Do you need a ride?
That would be great. At the Honda dealership, a full 3 hours after the vehicle was dropped off, and they told me,
Give them about 30 more minutes and it should be ready.
well, guess what that means? Even though my hidden cameras died at the Honda dealership because it was so long before they started working on the vehicle, we know that it only takes 5 minutes to program the key once they're actually working on it. So they didn't even start my vehicle at Honda until I called wondering when they'd be done.
Hey, does this one just go to the back?
That's kind of interesting to see how long it can take, and it just depends on whether you're there waiting and how busy the dealership is with other vehicles. When I watched the hidden camera footage, I saw this. Here's what the hidden camera footage showed at the Chevy dealership.
Are you okay leaving it for the afternoon?
What kind of time frame were you thinking?
Probably 3 or 4 hours.
It looks like about 5 minutes after I finished checking in, the pretty young kid comes to take the truck. 20 minutes later, looks like this is probably the guy that's really good at programming the key. He looks a little more experienced. He's talking to our friend Johnny, who checked me in. Oh, they're talking about the keys and fobs to be made.
Am I doing 1 or 2, or so just doing it as an ad? Just an ad.
Oh, look at that. There, Bob just grabbed the, looks like probably his equipment.
With his programming equipment plugged in, he's about to program the new remote fob.
Oh yeah, look at that. Less than 10 seconds once he hooked up his equipment. He programmed that fob. That was pretty quick. Okay, he's back with the key. Here we go. Oh, he's starting the engine with the original key. And let's see. He's starting it with the new key. This is the programming procedure for Chevy. Look, he's done. Yeah, like that. About 10 seconds on the key as well. All right, he's lifting the hood. This must be the multi-point inspection. He's got some washer fluid. Okay, he's checking the windshield washer fluid. Looks like the washer fluid was pretty low. He's put about a half gallon or something in. Ooh, we actually finished off that whole tank. Oh, he went back and got another bottle of, he's filling it up. Oh, and he closed it.
And that was the end of the inspection. Here's what the hidden camera footage showed at the Ford dealership.
We got an appointment to get another key made for Ford Explorer.
I've spent an hour of my time getting to the point of the Ford service tech starting to program the key.
For one of those remotes with the key, you'll get 242.14 after tax.
I've spent 2 hours of my time and over $400 so far, but I'm not done yet.
Look at that. They didn't cut it.
Driving back to Ford again.
I'm back.
Okay.
Remember, this is the one with the key blade.
So,
Hey, you're back.
I was back there and parts are getting that all taken care of.
Oh,
It's got to fit and everything too.
awesome.
Took Ford 2 minutes to get back to us on the key code, which is pretty quick.
Sweet,
So,
yeah. That's
we got
super.
that now.
Here's what the hidden camera showed at the Mazda dealership.
How long does this sort of stuff take?
I've seen usually like an hour and a half-ish.
Now the question, how long does the car sit at the dealership until the service guy comes to do his work? Okay, looks like it's been sitting about 25 minutes. Travis pops the hood and starts the full circle inspection. I'm pleased to see they're like actually inspecting the vehicle. That wasn't like the Chevy dealership. I have to say, these guys have been doing pretty good. The car's been in the bay for about 10 minutes. They've found the broken headlight. They've got some things hooked up. I mean, they're working on this. It's not sitting waiting. About 10 minutes after he pulled the car into the shop, Travis starts programming the key. Did you see that? He pushed a button on the computer and touched the new key fob to start-stop button. That's all it took to pair the key to the vehicle computer. All right, he tested it. Yep, it starts the engine. And just like that, in 3 minutes, Travis is finished with his programming. He checks a few more things. Looks like he's done, right? We might be done. Oh yeah, wait. Oh, he's taking it somewhere else now. He's pulling into the next bay down. The car goes up into the air on the mechanic lift. So for about 12 minutes, the car's in the air. Our dash camera shows that the inspection seems to be finished, and our friend takes care of paperwork. Some 15 minutes of working on the computer until finally, 55 minutes after he pulled the car into the shop, he's backing out. When he finds a surprise. So back into the bay to add that to the repair list. Finally, it's time for a quick car wash, and he parks the car. 1 hour and 6 minutes after starting that 3-minute process of making a spare key. Here's what the hidden camera showed at the Toyota dealership.
We're an hour and a half, 2 hours between that range.
Okay, sounds good. I'll just be working.
Okay.
Awesome.
The first guy came to drive the car away, gave it a number, took it out back, and parked it. The car sat in the parking lot for a while before the next technician came and took it to start programming. The technician just left for 15 minutes. Maybe he's taking a break or something. Ha! Listen to this. The technician finished my car, and while he's driving it back,
It needs to go back to somebody else.
he wasn't very happy with the next car he's assigned to work on. Here's what the hidden camera showed at the Honda dealership.
Do you have an appointment today?
No, I didn't.
So those guys require an appointment.
So I headed back to make an appointment.
You are booked for tomorrow at 10:15.
Okay, I gotta come back again. All right, coming back to Honda.
We've got this busted key here.
Probably be better if we got you a ride or you took off for a little bit.
Sure.
We're kind of busy trying to catch up right now. Do you need a ride?
That would be great. Okay. I got tired of waiting for the Honda dealership to make the new key. Here it is 3 hours later, and I still don't have my car back. So I'm gonna call him and ask him what the status is. I'm calling to check on the status of my vehicle.
1 moment. Alright, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Give them about 30 more minutes and it should be ready.
Hey, does this one just go to the back?
That means the vehicle has just been sitting. Since my hidden camera died at about 3 hours, unfortunately we don't get to see the Honda tech make a new key. Here's what the hidden camera showed at the Dodge dealership.
Find somebody's available, probably a half hour to an hour.
Okay. At this point, I don't know if you caught on the dashboard, it was about 12:13, so that's pretty quick. Okay, he's climbing in. The way he's reaching down there, I think he's probably plugging in some equipment to the OBD. There, he just picked up the key. Put a key in the ignition.
Oh, bad.
I think he's putting the key in the lock. He was actually making sure the emergency key blade got cut properly. So now he's putting the new one in. He just started the truck with one key. He's got another key in his hand. Truck's running. He's turned off the key, the truck. He's done, which is impressive. Can you believe that happened? That's how it goes at the dealership. It was really interesting to learn that. Here were the funniest things my hidden camera saw at the dealership. At the Chevy dealership, there's a guy singing in the car.
He's singing to himself.
At the Honda dealership, as the technician drives it to the car wash, he makes a funky noise. At Toyota, the mechanic was just cursing because he was not happy about his next job.
It needs to go back to somebody else.
You can see the full story at each dealership right here.